in the sense that we will be sharing all 4 recordings probably Monday of next week with everybody. So for those of you that didn't get to participate in all of them, Jennifer and Tammy, I think you guys might get the gold stars for attending all 4. So, but we'll go ahead and have those shared for anybody that is looking to hear some of the other pieces that they might have missed with the discussion. So feel free to interject there and check those out. As always, Missy and Britt and I are available for questions, strategy sessions. If you have things that you've heard through these discussions that you just are like, okay, what's the deal here? Feel free to reach out to any of us and let us know how we can best assist. So with that, Jadra, thank you so much for being here today, and I will let you take it away.
Hello, everybody. As Laura said, I am Jadra Patton. I work with Neighborhood Alliance. I'm the director of communications, so I handle all of our social media, website, all the graphics and stuff that go out for Neighborhood Alliance. And I've tried to attend all of them. I did miss the Urban League because of a meeting, but I wanted to kind of use this just to kind of cover some things that maybe I felt like maybe weren't talked about, but could be talked about. We did a lot of the same things that everybody else did, honestly. We definitely utilized the toolkit. We had our board send out letters. That was a really good thing for kind of to help spark it and help get it going. We definitely asked our friends, our family, our staff to share on the day. I think that is very important to utilize your resources that are in-house kind of with you. So asking our friends, personally, our friends to just share it and our staff was a big thing to kind of keep that traffic going and that message out there during the day. I guess I wanted to share my screen. I could share what I'm doing with our website this year. I don't know if that's helpful. I feel like it's gonna be a really short presentation, but so can I share a screen, Laura?
Yep, I think you should be all set. Go ahead and give that a go.
Okay. Okay, can everybody see my screen? It should be our website. Everybody see that? Okay, cool. Okay, so this is our website. I mean, I don't know if everybody has the ability to do the things that I have to do. I've created this website, so I know how to do everything with it. But anyway, so how I have it set up right now, which some of this may change closer to the day. I'll probably have a bigger image here that it talks about connect to a cause. I will be kind of pushing a lot of our traffic from our website to like our connect to a cause instruction page, or not our website, but our social media to our connect to a cause page. So if you scroll down here, I do have it kind of large right here as a button. Both of these are clickable. So the image is clickable and this text is clickable. I think that's important. And I also think it's important to have it on multiple spots on your homepage. So under get involved events, we do also have another connect to a cause link up here so that people can kind of, depending on how they look, everybody looks at things in different ways, especially if you're looking at it on your phone, if you're looking at it, on a desktop, things look different on websites. So having it in multiple places is helpful. So if we go ahead and click on this, it just pulled up a page on our webpage that talks about connect to a cause. It talks about what it is. Like I said, some of this may change getting closer to, I've just kind of been like working on it. But I put out these 3 options because there are multiple options on how to get involved and donate during this day. Obviously the online donation, I wanted to make sure that I had specific instructions. I love that you guys added the search box this year. I don't think that was on there last year, or maybe it was and I just missed it. But again, people look at web pages all differently. But having to scroll all the way down to find Neighborhood Alliance, I was making sure people knew. So this way I put in instructions on how they can search, find it. and donate that way. And then this link is also clickable to go to the community foundation site. Another option is the mail-in donation. This link specifically is clickable to go to our Connect to a Cause contribution form and has our Neighborhood Alliance thingy right here already put in there. And also what I wanted to mention too is that it really is important, if you're able to do this, to make it pop out to a new page. If people have to go back, sometimes that's annoying. They don't know where to go back to figure out, well, maybe I don't want to do online, but how do I get back to where I can, mail in my donation? So if you have it clickable and it could be a new page, then they're able to kind of just click around and go back if they want to. I also have options for drop-off donations. Obviously, they can drop off at the community foundation during those times, but I'm also going to have our office manager hanging out at our Washington Avenue location as well during a specific time that people can also drop off checks during the day, during those specific hours. We also will be having live updates on our Facebook page. So I've instructed people to go kind of to our Facebook page as well. We're lucky that we have a very active Facebook audience. I feel like they're all my little babies, because I feel like I've cultivated this audience over the 10 years that I've worked here. And, if we ask, they typically do. So really hoping that we can kind of really just push a lot of traffic from our Facebook page to this page so that they can know what their options are. I also wanted to put out there, again, that we use the toolkit. We created a lot of our custom branded, marketing pieces with the Connect to a Cause logo, with the Neighborhood Alliance logo, pushed a lot of that stuff out. And also, I don't know if a lot of people have access to this, but we use AdWords. So we actually hired a company called Cause Inspired Media that handles our Google AdWords grant for us. So I don't know how many people know about the AdWords grant or the Google grant that you can get. Most nonprofits qualify for it. Unfortunately, if you don't know how to work it, it really doesn't matter. So I didn't have the bandwidth to figure it all out because I'm the master of all things social and website. So we actually hired out that piece, and it's really been awesome for us. It's really generated a lot of traffic to our site. I plan to put this Connect to a Cause Day in our pushes for September. So hopefully, again, bringing a lot of that random Google traffic, looking for things to donate to our site. So again, this is kind of a quick conversation. This is what we're going to do. We're going to utilize the toolkit. We're going to push out our different e-blasts. We're going to push out, we're going to do a small mailing, I think. We're going to obviously have our board mail out things in social. That's what we do. So I'm hopeful that it'll be, here, I'll stop sharing now so you can see my face. But hopefully that'll kind of generate us some donations and some awareness. A lot of this is a lot of awareness building for us. Obviously, it's amazing that there's donations that are involved, but just even spreading the word about what we do, and for those who need help and for those who can help. So good stuff. Any questions?
And I was going to say, Deirdre, it may be quick. You may have gotten through it quick, but you've done a really, really good job. So, you've met your donors, your audience, exactly where they are on your website, on your platform. You've broken down how they can participate, where they can donate. I mean, that's it, right? That's all you can really do. And so thank you. I'm so excited. I was giddy. I know Laura was too.
Yay!
Yeah, I mean, I love the aesthetics of how that looks and how clean and self-explanatory it is. So I think that's awesome. And I do want to make mention to folks that we are beginning to see checks arrive, and those will be, those will be held until Connect to a Cause Day. So I know there's folks, especially that may have older donors, that, I don't want them to worry that they feel like they have to time everything, that the post office drops it off on the 16th, because we all know that the post office is not that predictable. But we do have some checks that are already coming in. We do allow for a buffer. The key point, like Jadra talked about, was that form. And so long as that form is with the check, those will count as connect to a cause contributions. And if they come in, a week after the 16th, they'll still count. So, it's really kind of, because we know that there's folks that may not mail that in until the 16th. So, but just so folks realize that, there is money that, can start to come in now if your donors want to make sure that they, get that check out, scratch that off their list kind of thing. And they can go ahead and send that in. So depending on your audience and where it's easier for you to meet them where they are, I wanted to make sure that we shared that with everybody. Jadra brought up a good point, and I'm not sure if anybody else is aware of this, but does anyone else use the Google AdWords? Because I think just from a general perspective, that's something that can generate a lot of value. Britt, I know we use it. Is there anybody else that has been using those? And Britt, do you want to just talk a little bit, because I know we're fairly new in our process, about what it went to kind of get initiated with that?
Yeah, so Google Grants, you can apply. I went through the Google Analytics training and stuff, and Deirdre's right, it is a lot, and we may outsource soon, but I've been trying to manage it. Yeah, I've been trying to manage it internally, but you apply, and essentially they give you $10,000 every month for free advertisement. So, when you Google community into Google, at the very top, there's ad space, right? So hopefully the Community Foundation of Lorain County pops up, or connect to a cause, the ad for connect to a cause pops up. And so you can do that. You can apply and do that for your organization. And so this is free, free publicity. That is awesome. And so then there's a whole bunch of different words. So, charity, nonprofit, all those different buzzwords. And it's something that you really have to kind of check on a regular basis, because, nonprofit versus charity, which one is getting more clicks and all these different things. And it does generate, some people to go to your website and social media platforms and those different things. So it's definitely something that your organization can apply for and receive. But once again, it is a lot of work. And it is confusing. So don't feel like it's you and you don't know how to do stuff, because, this is our wheelhouse. And Deirdre, like you said, it's a lot. So I will get the name of that organization that you are using, because I might want to give them a call.
Yeah, and if anybody has questions about that, you could feel free to reach out to me as well. It's it's pretty easy to qualify for Google Grants. You just kind of got to go through all the stuff, but utilizing it is so hard. You have to have a certain price point that you can get at for each of those words, and to actually make that worth it. And Britt, I'll totally share that information with you. It's really like a really small cost, and they do really good work. So they walk you through a lot of stuff, and I talk to her, I send her emails, and she gets everything in there, and then our traffic really starts going. So.
And it may not be something that you can quickly do, a month before connect.
I don't know if you could do it right before. Yeah, no.
Probably not, but it's definitely something that you could utilize, for other events.
Down the road.
As people are searching for things, maybe they need, utility help, and you can have an ad for that, and that could be one of your buzzwords. And so people can then be directed to your site. So it's definitely something that you can utilize. So yeah, reach out to one of us if you have questions, and we definitely will help you out.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Adele.
So you mentioned cause-inspired media. Is that what you're using? And are they the ones who train you how to use it, or they're doing it for you?
So there's multiple, this totally is going to turn this conversation, right? So there's multiple, there's like different levels that you can pay for. You can, I want to say they can do like the whole web page and everything with Google Analytics, with AdWords, with everything. That's a package. or if you're able to do your own webpage stuff, then they just go in and handle your AdWords. You have to talk to them to see where your comfort level is at. I do web design, so the web page is not a problem. It's just having all the time to do the AdWords, which was my issue. I don't have like 4 of me. And it's a big job. So I could actually go grab the information right now and just put it in this chat, and then whoever's interested could reach out to them.
Is it the group in St. Augustine, causeinspiredmedia.com?
It's in Florida. Is that St. Augustine? Is that, okay.
Yeah, I think this is them. I'm going to just copy and paste in the chat for everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, I don't think that's something that you can like do and put all together before September 16th.
Right.
But it is something that is very helpful, especially because we have this new web page. It helps get a lot of traffic to us. So.
Yeah, no, and I realize folks probably won't have the time in the next month to do that, but I think it is a great tool, above and beyond, Connect to a Cause that can be utilized. My former nonprofit had used it, and it was just really impressive to see the way that it generated for them, and the way it benefited them. So
I mean, if it makes a comparison, so when I was doing AdWords myself, I was probably able to spend maybe like $200 a month. With Cause Inspired Media, we're able to spend, I think our last thing was, over $6,000 in that AdWords grant. Like, so, I mean, it's helpful, but you really have, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's like the stock market. I have no idea. Like, it's like so hard to figure out how to get the right words at the right time. It's not as easy as you think, but it is very worth it if you hire somebody to do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So Jadra, and just from a general standpoint, kind of pivoting back a second to Connect to a Cause last year, I know it was discussed at the in a couple of the other sessions, the idea of new traffic versus old traffic, new donors versus old donors. I mean, do you know generally, from the contributions that you got last year, how much of that might have been folks that had never been exposed to your organization before versus those that had been your more consistent donors?
I do think that we got some new attention last year. I mean, right off the bat, I can't think of that. I had a baby like shortly after, so it doesn't really work. Like, remember that specifically, but I could find out. But I definitely think that we got some new participation. Even the people that, like you said, that were like, well, I'll give to this one, and this one. Like, we got like the weirdest odd dollar amount, I feel like, because somebody came in and they wanted to donate probably $500, but let's split it between these organizations, so this is what I'm passionate about. I definitely think we got some of that, for sure.
Yeah, and I know we had, just thinking of some of the stories in the office, we had at least 1 or 2 donors that I can think of that basically just wrote a check and said, here, split it among all 56. And so whatever that number equated to being, that's what the number equated to being. But the other thing, that I want to make mention, and we talked about it in the last session with Blessing House, I know that there's been talk, and Missy and I had a conversation with Friendship APL about the idea of messaging and combining your messaging, and who are some of the groups that you collaborate with, and being able to create something that talks about all the work that you're doing together, I think is a great thing. I was talking about the idea of, even because not everybody likes the idea of a competition, and I know there's a lot of folks that really enjoyed that competitive aspect last year, but also too, there's folks that like the idea of being able to just talk about how everyone is stronger together. So wherever that messaging fits best for you, I think is an important thing to utilize through this process. Jadra, it seemed like you had a thought when I said that.
Well, no, I just wanted to say that, yeah, we are actually going to be doing a little collab video with Blessing House. Obviously, it is out in the press that we are going to be doing some renovations. So we're actually going to do like a hard hat pass off from Blessing House to us. And I really think that it is important to show, I mean, I've been in the nonprofit community here for probably almost 10 years. And I feel like it's really important to show that collaboration, that to show that we are supporting each other. I mean, even this platform right here, you know, I was able to share the cause inspired media thing. You know, like, I don't know how many people that will help, but I found out about it, so I'd love to share that. And I think that highlighting those collaborations with our supporters is really important. So I'm really excited about, we're going to meet about the Blessing House video next week. And so stay tuned. That'll be super fun to watch, hopefully. And I think it's really nice. That collaboration is going to be fun. I'm excited about it.
And so really quick, before we open it up for questions and just the conversation in general with anyone who wants to participate, I do want to like plant a little Easter egg. I can't really tell you, but I will say it's really important for you to come to our next session. That's going to be on September 9th, because we're going to drop a bombshell for those who like competition. So make sure that you're attending. I'm not allowed to say anything other than that. And I know Laura is kicking me under the table virtually because I'm not supposed to say that. But make sure that either you or someone on your staff is on the call so that when we tell you all this, you're not finding out the day before when you rewatch. So make sure you're there. Sorry.
Nope, you're good. And I just wanted to remind everybody, and you know, I've spoken with Northridgeville Community Care, and they allowed me to be able to share this information. But you know, don't forget about reaching out to your board. You know, some of your larger supporters. You know, I've talked in the past about a donor that's come forward for one of those organizations and is doing a $25,000 up to $25,000 matching grant for what is raised through that day, and that is for Northridgeville Community Care. And you know, she's right now, I mean, her goal in talking with Heather is really lining up whoever she can to donate that day to make sure that they maximize that full $25,000. So I will say, going back to Brittany's, you know, teaser, that the competition is not going to be about dollars raised, just so nobody gets deflated at the idea that one organization may be landing, you know, $50,000 in a day. We're not going to make it about the dollars, but there will be some competition going on the day of. But, you know, just don't forget those resources that you can tap into. You know, we have heard back from a couple organizations that have spoken about the idea that they have chosen, or their board has chosen, to put more than 25% into the endowment. Northridgeville Community Cares is going to be 100% endowment. I know that there's another organization that has talked about the idea that their goal is probably 100% towards endowment. You're not required to do that. I mean, the bottom line is that 25%, but you know, for those organizations that feel like it really could be a boost to them to have that money, you know, I know I've had conversations where, you know, for some folks, their dream for an endowment is to be large enough to cover a staff salary. And that may be, you know, when you break that down, that could be a couple $100,000. And, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So, you know, it's an easy way to elect this day to be, you know, that fundraising capacity if you choose to do so. And every little bit counts. So, you know, we've talked before with, you know, with the Urban League and their $5 contributions. And, you know, so there's a lot of different ways to create the strategy that may work best for your organization, and you know, what makes sense for your constituents and how best to put all those pieces together. Any other questions for Jadra? All righty. Any other questions for Britt or Missy or I, or Britt or Missy? Is there anything you want to add in from the discussion so far?
Just one thing that I'd like to add is for any of you that are looking for an easy to use, free design system, Canva is a fantastic resource And it really easily creates professional looking graphics for your website, for your social media, for your newsletters. It has tons of different options in there. And at the bottom of the participant information page, there is a link to where you can sign up for a free nonprofit version. So instead of getting the paid version, you can sign up and get all those resources for free. It does take a little bit of a turnaround time, to get it together and launched and get you approved and so forth. But there is a basic version that you can start using today that's free. And then you can always, once you get your approved, it'll just give you more tools and more accessories and things like that. But it's a really great resource and pretty easy to use.
And then Ron, I apologize. Were you raising your hand just before Missy made her comment?
Yes, just two quick questions. Checks that we receive ahead of time, should they maybe be made out to our organization or to Community Foundation?
They can be made out either way. I mean, we've had success with being able to deposit those checks if it's made to the organization and the organization has a fund. I think our preference would be that they get made to Community Foundation because it's a little cleaner that way and just put the organizational name in the memo. But if there is somebody that, I know last year there were a lot of folks that gave contributions directly at the site of the nonprofit. So it's logical to assume that some of those were probably made directly in the name of the nonprofit. But if there's an endowment fund here, usually we've been able to go ahead and still get those checks processed on our end.
As long as they fill out that form.
As long as they fill out that form. Mm-hmm.
Second question, do we have to designate ahead of time what percentage we want to go to the endowment fund?
So the baseline is 25%. If you want to do more than the 25%, we will be doing some outreach after the event before we cut the checks and do the check award ceremony to double check with everybody what their preference is. If you do already know, because I know there are some organizations that already know how they want to do that and if they want to put more in, definitely feel free to let me know. And we are beginning to track those organizations that have already stated that they're going to put more into their endowment. But if you still need some time to figure it out, you want to see how much you raise overall. The check award ceremony is going to be October 1st, which is a Friday at Lakeview Park. So we'll probably be reaching out to everybody either that Friday or Monday before, letting them know kind of the final balance and, how much they want to go into the endowment and how much that they want to go into, their direct giving. And then if you change your mind at a later date, you can always add more to your endowment at any time. The only benefit to doing it, now versus later is, with the event being in September and with September 30th being the cutoff date and how we process the totals for the 2022 distributions, if you let us know in advance you want more going into the endowment, then those additional monies will be part of the 2022 calculations for what is your available to spend. If you add more to the endowment after September 30th, then it'll still add to your endowment, but you won't really see the impact of those dollars until the 2023 calculations for the available to spend.
So I can just send you an email with what the percentage should be?
Sure, certainly. If you want to send me an email and then, we can go ahead and keep that in our records. Certainly. Yes, Jenny.
Morning. I may have missed this. Sorry, power outage, then updating my computer. Yay. So quick question with our interview. I know we're scheduled. I can't quite remember. Is that going to be somewhere or is it going to be via Zoom?
So we are finalizing our last location. So we're going to announce those very soon. Okay. But we will be at 4 different locations. So, every day we're watching the news, right? And if the guidelines say, hey, you shouldn't be in person, then we will be via Zoom. If they say that we are allowed to be in person, then that's what we will do. But it really is your comfort level, right? So it's all going to be through Zoom, live streamed into our Facebook Live anyway. And so it really is up to you. So yep, sign up for your slot. And as we get closer, we definitely will monitor and make sure that you know. But we are really excited, and we know that I think we have maybe 18 or 19 organizations that are signed up. And so last year, we know that all 56 were not able to participate. We tried to space it out where we could have almost everyone participate. So even if you're unsure if it's in person or not, if you could go ahead and sign up for a slot, because remember, people do tune in during these times. You know, you can share it from your Facebook page and say, hey, we're going to be on at this time. Make sure you stay tuned. We can go back to last year's donations and literally see when the donations, when that person was on the Facebook Live and that people were actively donating to that organization. So that's really important. And I'm so excited because I am not the only person who's going to be talking to you all wonderful people this year. It's going to be 4 of us. So between me, Missy, Laura, and Mia, our community engagement fellow, we are going to be having engaging conversations with each of you, highlighting your organization. So come prepared with the story, with the video, if you have a PowerPoint. And if you're like, nope, I have something else going on that day, could you do XYZ? We sure can. Sign up anyway. You know, no one has had any cute kids show up. So if you have that, you know, just throw them at us. Whatever you want to do during that time, you could do. We're pretty much go with the flow as you see. You know, we're hoping to have some commercials and stuff. Like, we're really stepping it up. I'm a little nervous because we're about 30 days out, but you know, I think we're gonna get it out the ballpark. So make sure that you sign up for those, and you can go to the participation page, and down in one of the boxes is how you can sign up.
Adria and I are going to do a round program with our little ones.
We can. They're downstairs right now.
You know, one thing I'll just piggyback on with what Britt said is, you know, if you have, you know, pre-produced videos too, if you're not able to show up in person, you know, we have a couple organizations that, you know, because of different things going on, different awards, different conferences, different things like that, we, you know, where their key personnel may not be available that day, but they are planning on pre-recording something, or, you know, there's been 1 or 2 groups that have talked about the idea of, you know, they have something where they worked with a videographer and they have this, you know, produced piece that is, you know, within the right time frame of allotment that they can use in that time. You know, just taking the opportunity to share your story. The free clinic, I believe it was, Missy, they reached out to you about putting a video on their grants catalog. So that is something that Missy's able to do. If you have video aside from just the link to your website, we can include that video on your grants catalog so that you can share that information and have something a little bit more interactive at that time as well.
And one thing I do want to add, as you all are starting to post on social media, if you use the hashtag C2C Lorain County, I can see it. So I'm searching this hashtag like at least once or twice a day and liking your stuff and want to begin sharing it. It's easier for me to do that versus create 65 posts like every day for each of your wonderful organizations. So as you start to pick up and start sharing, please use that. And you can actually now, since things are like upgraded on Facebook, hashtags are not just for Twitter anymore, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you do that, we can search them, we can support you. And when someone clicks it, they can see all the organizations. I keep clicking on Twitter and I'm seeing everything from 2020. I'm like, all right, guys, we're getting close. You got to start putting your name out there. You got to start doing some stuff. And remember that there are organizations organizations that you can pre-plan some scheduled social media stuff. So I know that I use Sprout Social. I think Jen, you told me you use Hootsuite, and some of them do charge a fee, and sometimes it's not even that much. But if you know you're too overwhelmed to want to do stuff, all the time. It is lightning and thundering near my house. I'm so sorry, it scared me a little bit. Then, go ahead and do that. And plus there are publishing tools like on Facebook. And I realize that some of you are like, my organization might not even have a Facebook. Well, you know what? That's okay. That's what your board members are for. I serve on a board of an organization that, we have a website, but we don't have a Facebook. So it is really up to the board members to drive that out, or people who are, volunteers of the organization or just passionate about the organization. This is where you just ask them to help you. And remember, September 9th, I'm telling you, you got to pay attention, because you're going to want these people to help you at specific times that day. I am going to be quiet because I'm going to mute myself. I'm not good with secrets.
And that, and just also, Missy talked about this in the previous week, I think, think about the tools you're already using. Not all of this necessarily has to be reinventing the wheel. Shout out, I know they're not on here, but the Lorraine Palace Theater, they put it up on their marquee about Connect to a Cause Day. Britt took a picture while she was driving and luckily didn't kill herself in the process. But, think about the correspondences that you already have teed up to go out and just adding a quick little sentence. Think about, we have the QR codes. Some of this can just be the things that you already have scheduled to do. How can you just add a single mention about Connect to a Cause? And build that into, obviously, if you have things that you already teed up 3 months ago, that's not going to fit. But if there's certain things that you put out on a regular basis, or that is going to be going out, a newsletter that's getting ready to go out in the next couple weeks, or, statements to, your vendors or different things like that that's going to be going out, definitely feel free to interject those things as easily as possible in those pieces that you've already got created or are creating in that process.
A really cool idea I just had when you said that. I don't know how many of you use like Avery, what are they called? Not templates, but like the name tags or stickers or thing. You can use one of those templates and you can put that QR code on there. You can make it a sticker. So for our annual reports, for our Lorain County Scholars Connect, we want people to sign up. We slapped a sticker on there. We printed them in-house. It was really cheap. We didn't have enough time to send it to someone to print. Put those QR codes on a sticker and put them on a piece of paper or put them somewhere so people can just scan. It gets, hey, you're coming in today, just scan this. Make sure you bookmark that. And remember, between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on September 16th, it's super easy, and get everyone to do it. So on September 16th, people know that your organization is participating. So when they are scrolling through, they do scroll down and they recognize that you already told them that you're participating.
I'd just like to add that if you do decide to give 100% of the proceeds to your endowment, or you decide that what you're raising that day is going to go towards staff training, or it's going to go towards providing senior meals, or like Blessing House mentioned that theirs is going to go towards their new van, and you'd like to include that in your grants catalog, I can update that for you. I realize we asked for that grants catalog information really early in the year, and you might not have had a sense of where those funds are going to go. So if you'd like to update that, just reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. Sooner is better. Of course, sooner is better than waiting to the last minute. But I'm happy to update that. People do tend to give more when they know how the money is going to be spent. So that's just, something to think about, and let me know if you'd like that changed.
And then I'm gonna check to see if anyone has any questions. And then Jennifer from Leadership Lorain County is kind enough to share something. Once again, this is a little bit of a divergence away from something that you may do for Connect to a Cause, but for any of you that participated in their Difference Makers Gala, they had a raffle, and they had this really cool kind of Wheel of Fortune wheel that they used to draw the name of the raffle winners. And I thought it was super awesome. And, I've been trying to brainstorm different ways that we could, use that wheel. So I reached out to Jennifer this week, and she offered to share some of this information with the group on the call. Like I said, it may not tie in directly with Connect to a Cause, but as we're still dealing with, virtual activities, I think it's a great way to have a visual for those types of events and activities. So Jennifer, thank you so much for being willing to share this with us, and I'll let you share your screen.
Okay, let's see here. So we found this actually for our virtual open house last year, when we were trying to figure out how we always draw the winner for our DMG, free DMG tickets, if you paid your membership, and we've always done the ticket, and trying to figure out how to do that with a little more pizzazz. I believe we saw someone else use something similar. So I Googled it. It's actually called wheelofnames.com. I mean, it's like the most basic name ever. But you can see, so this is what we used at Difference Makers. And because we had people buying multiple tickets, you can see different names in there, and then you just click on it and it spins. And it does, see who would it won this time? Options are, so you can get an option whether you just remove that one instance, remove all instances. So, if you've got something where you can only win once, you can remove them all. Or if you're just like, okay, well, that's the one ticket out, but if he's still in there, bought multiple tickets, it's fully customizable. It does only show so many names on here, and this bar will disappear if you have less names. So you can, go through and just, I have 947. This was from before. So if you delete it, you can also customize it to whatever you want. So you can spin time, number of names visible on the wheels. You can do your appearance. So you can change your colors. And of course it's RGB. Well, I have the CMYK for the for the Connect to a Cause colors, but you can make it whatever colors you want. So you got that. Maybe we'll add the green. See if I can get something that's kind of close. Okay, well, I know that's not really close, but then you can do your white or black. So you got okay, and then we keep everything in a spreadsheet. I'm just going to pull this from something that was already made up here. And you can just copy and paste. So you can keep your names however you want, and it's so much easier. And then you just click and it spins, and you can go full screen. Sometimes there'll be an ad that pops up in the corner because it is free to use, but you can just click the ad away. If you go to full screen, the ad usually disappears, and you can spin it as many times as you want. So if you've got multiple prizes, if you're using this for Connect to a Cause, I think Blessing House was talking about tying in a raffle, to theirs. So odds are everybody's name would just appear once. If you've got multiple options, you can pull their name out after each spin. But it was kind of fun, and the fact that it's customizable makes it easy to theme to whatever you're working on. So, Connect to a Cause or Difference Makers or your organization and that kind of stuff. So it's fairly.
Betsy, I love your comment. That's right up there with the campaign thermometer and coolness.
Yeah. I don't remember how we found it. If it was just something like we were trying to figure out how to bring something more on screen, you can do it ahead of time with Zoom now. You could just do it ahead of time and record it if you want to run it during or, in the midst of an event. And we've used it multiple times for different things, and it hasn't given us any trouble. We were really worried when we got up to that 940 some odd names because we weren't sure it would take that many names when we had that many tickets. But it's worked great. So
you can import into it, I take it?
Yeah, it had, I'm sorry, did I?
'Cause that would be, you probably said that, but I just,
That's okay. It has this box and you can just, I put everything in an Excel sheet because it was easier for me to keep track of than trying to, I'm sure you could use just a Word document too, but I just copy and paste. So I took the, and especially when we were selling those tickets, because you can just click on this corner and drag it down and whoops, that didn't work. So if, they bought 5 tickets, you've got all your names, and then you can just copy and paste the whole list. And it just pops right in there. And
so who knows, you may or may not be seeing this on Connect to a Cause Day. So thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that. I just remember, watching that at the Difference Makers Gala thinking, oh my God, that is so cool. and I've had different conversations with different folks going, we need to figure out how we could do that wheel, because that wheel is just so cool.
I think we had like 3 organizations reach out to us right after Difference Makers and ask where we found that. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and just check to see one last time if anybody had any questions that they wanted to throw out to either myself or Jadra or Britt or Missy or Jennifer about the wheel. We're happy to, take questions now or chat more offline. Feel free to, reach out to us at any point. And we're happy, to help however we can. All righty, wonderful. Well, Jadra, thank you again so much for sharing your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you everybody for your participation in these calls. I've been thrilled to see just, how well these have been attended by the groups, and just, how much everybody seems to be enjoying the participation in this. So thank you guys for taking the time and effort out of your days to learn more about all of this information as well. So with that, like I said, feel free to reach out to any of us, and you guys have a great day.
Bye.